Hey, what's up, my beautiful people? Long time no hear from, man. I've been here and there, a little bit everywhere. Just a little taste of busy. You know what I mean? Just wanted to jump on a few minutes and take a breath of fresh air, man, and see what's really going on out here in this world, man. Especially with the MDOC, my MDOC people, man. I wanna check in on them for a little bit and see how they doing. I'm gonna start down. Well, I want to start by saying I'm glad that the officers were okay. Now, from my initial reports from downtown was that one of the officers passed away, but I found that that wasn't true, so to speak. But I'm gonna jump down first. I'm gonna address some current events, some stuff that happened right now at CMCF. They're there. Hey, how you doing? They're without a chaplain, so for whatever reason, you know what I mean? I told him that he had two guys in the chapel, one who was a computer hacker that wasn't supposed to be on the computer, and another one who had a sexual assault before he went to prison and while he was in prison, so he definitely shouldn't have been there. So whatever reason, they let him go, so CMCF without spiritual guidance right now. Oh, there's Dr. Masters who's at the women, so I guess she's going to have to run the whole institution. So they were already shorthanded. Then the big thing with the shakedown that happened today at West Central, A building, 44 phones, a pound of weed, several grams of crystal meth, and every other thing that you could think of that's illegal going to prison. And my thing is that there's no way that they can fly it over the fence now. You know what I mean, with the new security system. There's no way somebody could throw that much stuff across the fence the way it's set up at West Central. So it only leaves one thing, or one mode of transport as to how things are, getting in. And so I think that it's imperative, man, that we fix that leak, or we're gonna lose a lot more people, including, inmates and staff, unintentionally or intentionally. You know what I mean? I respect the hustle because I've been inside. But when a hustle becomes a detriment to the lives and the well-being of those around you, then it's no longer a hustle. You know what I mean? It's almost like a armed robbery where I'm stealing your soul from you in the sense that I'm poisoning you while you're reaching out for hope. You're reaching your hand out for hope, and I'm filling it with substances that could cause you your life for my own selfish greed. So when men and women start doing that, then they don't really give a damn about you or anybody else. You know what I mean? And so I think that in a staff that's corrupt enough or in a situation enough, in a bad situation, some of them do it just for the fame, just because they want to be cool, even if it's amid the threats or whatever from people who are inside. Man, you got to either stand up and be a man or woman and do your job. Because one thing I learned about guys inside, when you tell them no and you stand on that and you mean that, they're not going to push past that. But when they see that you do one thing, once you do one thing, then you're committed for the rest of your time there, employed, to serve them. So whoever is doing it, once you've done it, then that's it. You locked in for life. There ain't no getting out. You know what I mean? Because now I got the goods on you. And so you look at the price of phones, we talking about a few cheap phones, but it was some nice high dollar phones in there, man. So I think a total of 40 plus phones found just today. You know what I mean? And people lock us. So I wonder what you're going to do with them. They're already incarcerated. Only thing you're going to do is move from one side of the prison to another, unless you're going to send them to Walnut Grove, which is already full with guys who've been problems. Then you got guys at Walnut Grove don't deserve to be there, but you're letting these guys continue to be in lockup. And you still got Travis McCourt over there for something somebody planted on him. You got him in a lockup over at CMCF for something somebody planted on him. So I think that's a travesty when a guy has to go through because somebody doesn't like you and other inmates plant something on you. And you just, after you make parole, I can't see you making parole and still doing the things, throwing rock at the penitentiary, the one that you haven't even left. So after you get approved to make parole, there's no way that you're going to be storing anything that could be detrimental to your freedom. That's just my personal opinion. You know what I mean? I knew the guy, had a lot of respect for him. So I don't think that Travis McCoy was that gullible to think that he could hide something in his box, you know what I'm saying, and still continue to think that he was going to make parole because somebody was going to tell him. So I think that because he wasn't bowing down or giving in to whatever they wanted, they felt like he was a threat, so they planted something on him with a couple of officers knowing about it. So it's just my thing. So man, whatever is going on at CMCF as far as people bringing in contraband, because we just had somebody to die. So what do we need? Like 20 more deaths before you completely get a hold of your prison? You put somebody in charge that knows what they're doing instead of going around harassing other staff members. Man, do your job. Get down there and shake those units down. Do your job. You know what I mean? I'm sure you didn't act off a tip. So my thing is, what are you doing, Owen? Superintendent Owen, what are you doing, Deputy Superintendent St. Julian? You know what I mean? So you're not these guys' friend, man. You're not necessarily their oppressor either, but I think that you got to get out and do your job and find out what the hell is going on when it comes to drugs getting in your prison, or we're going to have more people within the prison system that are going to be affected. You know what I mean? So we got to go ahead and get control. We need to get a hold and get control of what's going on out there. We can't continue to ride under the banner of black and white, so to speak. So you can't walk around on and not talk to your black staff and see what's the issues with them. But you bring in all these people who look like you and you give them 8 to 4 jobs or 9 to 5 jobs, and they don't have to work the weekend. Yet you work my people, like they're slaves. Want them to come in on their day off and you want to stay extra time. Of course, we're short staff. You know what I'm saying? And then you even letting, like with the youth situation, you got youth there and they're steady getting into it with each other, but you're rewarding them with extra yard time. You're rewarding them with pizza parties. You know what I mean? They stay cool a couple of days and then they're right back at it. Man, these guys got a long road. At least 80% of them got more than 20 years, And I had one to tell me that his 30 years he got was chump change. Hey, I'm only 15, I'll be 45 when I get out. So that's the mental think that you have within your youth that are coming into the system. When they don't know it's a bunch of lines and vultures waiting on them to transition from the youth into general population so they can pounce on them and prey on them. Either put a knife in their hand, either put some lipstick on their face and some makeup on their face, or whatever they're going to do. That's just the reality of prison. People don't like to hear that. People don't like to talk about it. But I've seen enough of it to know that there are a lot of things that society doesn't know about that goes into prison, that goes on within the prison system. Now, let me jump down the road here down to, in the Delta where I'm from, down to Parchman. There's no way that a guy who's incarcerated for a homicide where he killed a pregnant woman while he was so-called, quote, Christian missionary, but he was on pills, on drugs, and he could kill her in rage to rob her to get money from him. You know what I mean? And so there's no way that he should be walking around any institution, not just Parchman, working for whoever, the superintendent, or if he was working for the government, there's no way he should be walking around with a pocket knife on his side. And the word on the block is that he's still getting high. So how is he walking around with a pocket knife on his side? To do what? Why does somebody who's convicted of a crime, period, need a pocket knife that's not tied down or strapped down to the table? One thing about the feds, if there's a knife to be used, you have to check it out with a tool kit. You got a certain amount of time, and they have to clear that shadow board before count time, just to ensure that the knife is still in place. If one comes up missing, you're going to strip search everybody in the building. There's no inmate movement or anything, but yet and still, you got at Parchman, you got 2 offenders or special detail, but you got 2 of the offenders riding around with pocket knives on their side. And word on the street is they've been duck hunting. How can you allow a convicted felon inside when we outside that are ex-felons fighting for our rights But this guy is still incarcerated with a 30-year sentence. He's only done 4 years and about 10 months on that sentence. And he's inside hunting doves and killing coyotes on parchment ground. Yeah, I understand the coyotes are a problem. Then you get the game warden and call somebody out to trap them. There's no way that an offender, you know what I mean, Houston and Young riding around on a four-wheeler in the back of parchment ground, as big as it is, going dove hunting and or killing coyotes, man, at any time. There's no reason he should have a AR-15 or any type of weapon where he's riding around shooting shooting doves and killing coyotes. And there's no reason that they should be allowed to go to the fish pond and swim, ride their four-wheeler. So who's overseeing that? You know what I mean? Oh, don't worry. The proof will come out. Batman know that it's true. You know what I'm saying? And he gives them free reign. You know what I mean? You need to see what Houston and your counterpart doing, what your Houston and your better half doing, because it seems that she has how can I say it, a real mysterious adoration with him. So you need to see what's going on with them, while you're out trying to save the rest of MDOC. First of all, she has no business even working for you, because that's the same thing that the former Angola warden was relieved of his duties for nepotism, for bringing in different guys, giving them specialty jobs because of their family member. And why you, Batman, would be sitting in the truck with one of your special detail guys when they cook food at the place, and he allowed to go into the place and cook at a place that his son is eating, not doing visiting hours when you had the banquet a couple of weekends ago at the place. I heard that the governor is coming to Parchment Day. Are you going to take him to 29? Is he going to be allowed to see that the sewage is backed up at 29? Is he going to be allowed to see if all the windows are fixed in 29, or the lighting works in 29, or all the water that's on the floor in H building and in G building? You know what I mean? Is he going to be told that the showers don't work and you haven't given them guys in G building a shower over a week? Are you going to tell him that the only thing that you brought them food about 8 o'clock last night, and the only thing you served them was meat and bread, and because they didn't have their trays, they had to bring their own bowls. If they brought their own bowls, they could get some vegetables in their bowl. But you couldn't use the trays because the trays had mold on them, and they were still dirty. Nobody had washed the trays for you to feed the population at Unit 29. Man, these are still human beings. There's still somebody's sons out there that are working. And you creating a hostile environment for your staff out there. Because if I hadn't eaten, then I'm going to make the staff give me something. You know what I mean? You're not going to wait till 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and bring me some food and tell me the only thing I got for you is a sandwich, some meat and bread. If I got my own bowl, I can get some vegetables. But you don't go out there. You send the inmates to take the food out there, and then they have to be, ones who have a little juice and power, and they work, and you send them out there. You won't send a staff out there to tell the guys, hey, man, look, we're going to make it up to you tomorrow or whatever. You just want to treat them like they're animals and think that you can continue to get away with it. You know what I mean? So those guys at 29, man, they need their showers. The guys at 29, man, need their lights fixed in their cell. They need the toilets. You got some over there with the toilets been running for days and days. If anybody heard one of the metal toilets run consistently where it's on automatic, then it's like it sounds like a train. You know what I mean? It sounds like a train that runs just all day, just constantly. They have to cover it up with their clothes in order to make the noise go down. And then I'll be posting some pictures later where you can see how the drugs are so bad. Guys are laid out in the middle of the floor, acting like they're dogs, eating their own vomit. You know what I mean? And you can join the Hope Dealers page, and you can see some of the pictures that people send in on a day-to-day basis. This is not yesterday. This is not last year. This is within the last few weeks and the last few days, and the pictures are updated. And, with that being said, I just think that we're in a bad situation when it comes to MDOC at CMCL, at Parchment. You know, haven't really heard anything. It seems like the warden David Roach has got it to with some sense of ordinary. You know what I mean? If you can call that within the prison system. But 720, man, you're still talking to the women, Superintendent Harrison, you're still talking to the staff and the women like you're above the law. You know what I mean? When you have your hand in so many things that are illegal out there as it is. You know what I mean? And I'm going to tell you, like I told Batman and Robin, that you could call me and talk about it. And I want to see how you addressing those. If not, I can share it with Jerry Mitchell. I can share it with News 17 or whoever that you want me to do, whoever you want me to share it with. So I just think that we have a miscommunication when it comes. This is not probation and parole. I think that you think that this is where you sit in the office and everybody that comes to you, they're formally incarcerated and you can treat them any kind of way. These are people who are currently serving their times and they have a right to have the 8th Amendment and the 14th Amendment protection. You know what I mean? You can't treat them any kind of way. You're supposed to give them what they're supposed to. It don't cost you anything, man, to give those guys, those men and women, the things that they're supposed to have. And that's for everybody. That's from SMCI to East Mississippi. The same thing with East Mississippi. You haven't had, you got mold and everything that's overrunning the place and you want to paint over it. So I'm still wondering, man, how in the world are all these institutions passing ACA inspection? How are all these deaths that are attributed to fentanyl and other drugs not being reported to the ACA? If this happened in a neighborhood, a white neighborhood right here in Mississippi, then you would have the National Guards in there trying to find out what's going on with as many people dying. You talking about 3-4 deaths maybe a week, you know, at some institution from fentanyl overdose, and you're not reporting it. There's no such thing, man, as a 26-year-old dying of a natural death when he has a history of using drugs within the system. You know what I mean? You can't put that down as natural. You know, and the thing that happened at CMCL, you know, it's a travesty, man, but it's bad that it has to hit the news media for the public to know the seriousness of the situation. You know what I mean? And so I think that when you, as a leader across the state, when you're not training these guys to come home with a skill, then you're telling them, you're turning them loose and saying, hey man, we're expecting you back within the next few years, because if a guy hasn't changed internally and to prepare himself to be free from the chains of incarceration, then he's looking to come back. He really doesn't want to leave in the first place, but he's going to try his hand or whatever, and he's going to come back with a more heinous crime than he left with the first time. That's a guarantee, man. But then you can't have guys inside who committed way worse crimes than some of their African-American counterparts walk around. And then it takes policy, man. How can you override policy where policy said that you have to be incarcerated for 15 years in order for you to be considered for your green and white? Yet and still, you, Batman, got people who've only been down 4 years and not quite 5 years that already have their green and white. You know what I mean? So what are you saying? Simply, what are you saying, man? Then you got the trucks and stuff that you haul the food from the central kitchen out to these different units. Man, those trucks are dirty, man. Them trucks are simply just outrageous and dirty, man. You know what I mean? Flies overrun them. The air don't work in them. Nothing, man. They don't run half of the time. But that why the child was late going to 29? Because your truck wasn't working, or your dishes weren't clean? Man, which one was it? You know what I'm saying? Man, I just stopped through for a minute. Then check on that situation at CMCL, you know, and see what they're going to do with all the phones and everything that happened and all the people. I'm going to see how many heads roll from this. Since none of the heads rolled when the guy escaped, since none of the heads have rolled since the death of the inmate with fentanyl just coming into prison. So he was not properly searched, or did an officer take it down to him since he's been there? He can't tell because he's dead. You know what I mean? To you and the other people who work out there, he might not mean, you know, he might not have meant anything to you, but I'm sure that he had a family or somebody that loved him, whether it's kids, whether it's mom, dad, or whoever, siblings or whatever. You know what I mean? So I just think we're in a bad situation, man, when it comes to our judicial system and our current administration as far as the inmate population. You know what I mean? Yet and still, you don't want to let guys make parole who have not had a write-up in 20 years. You know what I mean? You know, and mostly African American, because you said that our system of, or the state system of training them in the program they had are nothing because they're pencil whooping them. Man, you got, come on, man. We can't have it both ways. Either we're going to rehabilitate the guy and hope. I think that the guy is rehabilitated when he can stay in a system like Parchman with everything that's going on around him with the corruption. And as fast as they give out write-ups, for him to be in over 20 years and have a write-up and still continue to teach class and do the thing that he's supposed to do, I think the staff ought to speak up for him, the exec staff ought to speak up for him so that he can try to make parole. So he don't have to spend the rest of his natural life within the penal system. Because it's costing us. You got all these elderly patients at 31 in the hospital and all these different camps and all around the state who are confined in wheelchairs. Man, he can't rob nobody. He can't do anything. You got one guy, a former field minister that's at CMCF that went blind since he's been incarcerated. Who is he going to hurt, man? Let the man come out and have some time. Like the guy that just died at 720 at the clinic, since they moved it from 720 back over to RNC at the RNC clinic week before last. Man, his only cry was he wanted to go home and die. You know what I mean? He knew that he was going to die. He wasn't getting the proper care. But you got all these compassionate releases that you haven't. Only thing guys need for their compassionate release is an ID in order for their paperwork to get processed. But their paperwork is sitting there. You're not processing, so they're still sitting in prison waiting on an ID when they've been granted compassionate relief according to the state. So, man, fix the system. Fix the system, fix the system. You know what I mean? Yeah, God bless the family of Frankie Beverly, man. We lost a great one. You know what I mean? So you guys take care, man. I'll be back with you this evening. As soon as I have more details and update on everything that they found out here at CMCF and the stuff that, and why is the place closed today? Because the governor is coming down there. You want the staff to go to the next town to eat. Make sure you take Reeves out to 29 so you can see what's going on. So he can see how it looks. Don't take him to this, the field minister building at Unit 30. You know what I mean? And 30D building. No, take him down to 29G, 29H, 29J, 29L, and 29A at your intake and see how they really living. You know what I mean? And see how you really treating these people. You know, Rock Nation just left them and hung them out to dry. According to the papers, 29 was supposed to be closed. I didn't even know that while I worked there. 29 was supposed to have, that was part of the agreement that they had with Rock Nation. Yet and still, they continue to operate. I know for the 2 years I was down there, and still now today, and have no intention to close. They close I building, K building, and E building. E and F was closed. F is back open right now. So C building, B building is closed, A building open, B building closed, C building open, D building and E building, they're closed. E building is open. So G building is open, H building is open, I building is closed, J is open, K building closed, and L building open. But L, J, H, and G building and A building, they're in bad shape, man. You got sewage backed up in the hallway closet. Anytime you open them, you can smell it. It just runs out. So the toilets are bagged up from the sewage. You know, everything. You don't have any, they haven't given them guys out there in G building and H building a shower since last week. That's a long time, man, for a grown man to be sitting in some 100-degree temperature in the unit and haven't had a shower, man. You know what I mean? Especially if you have given him an opportunity like an H building to come out and get some rec. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. Y'all check on your people, man, who are down there locked up. Man, don't let them suffer like that. We got to get together and check on them by any means necessary. Man, I love you guys. Y'all take care, man. All right?